Which statements are enough to conclude that M is parallel to N? So, here's M, here's N. Most people got this wrong because they weren't really looking at M and N. First is gives us 1 is congruent to 9. That's great and all, but where are both of these angles located? On M. Do we have any information regarding N? No. So how can this be used to prove that the two lines are parallel if there's no information on line N? It can't. So this is not an answer. Okay? 1 and 7 are supplementary, so we can look at that. 1 and 7. So what you would do is decide if they would be supplementary, if these were parallel. If these were parallel, what would 1 be congruent to? One would be congruent to, someone said it, 6. What else would it be congruent to?
12.
Yes, but that doesn't help me with line N. Where over here on line N would 1 be congruent to?
8.
1 and 8 and?
7.
Nope. 3. Okay? So if 1 and 7 are not congruent, what was the other option? If they're not congruent, then they have to be supplementary. Okay? So this is an answer. In order for these two lines to be parallel, these would have to be supplementary, meaning they'd have to add to 180. All right, what's the next one say? We're on C. Angle 1 is congruent to angle 12. That's great and all, but again, where are both of these angles located? On line N. Unless you want to get kicked out of my room, I highly suggest that you focus on this, because when you two are making eye contact and not doing this, it's not very helpful. Did you get this correct? So you should be trying to understand why you got it wrong. That's the goal. Or I'm wasting my time up here. So we had B. Again, why did we say 1 and 12 were not correct? They're on the same line. They're on M. Has no information about N. What about 6 and 3 marked congruent? Do these two have a relationship? Yes, they do. What are they? Alternate interior. Are alternate interior congruent? Yes. So is this enough information to prove the lines are parallel? Yes, it is. That's why B and D were your answers. The next one was an exact question off your quiz. So go ahead and flip to the next page. So a lot of you did the zigzag, but then still did not do the answer correctly. So did 55 land on x plus 10? No. So does x plus 10 equal 55? No, it does not. It equals something else. How can I find out what the remaining angles equal? Subtract 180 and 55. What is 180 minus 55? Is 125. So that means all of these remaining angles are 125. So what does x plus 10 equal? 125. All right, and then what do I do next? I have this equation right here. Y'all are dead. Come on. What do we do next? Subtract 10. So 115 equals x. All right, this next one is number 6. Do these two have a relationship? Yes, they do. What relationship do they have? They're corresponding. What do we know about corresponding? They're congruent. So what does 4x plus 3 equal? 123, because these two are the same. All right, so then what would I do next? Subtract 3. 120 equals 4x, so x equals 30. Number 10. Almost every single person got this one wrong, so almost every single person should be correcting number 10. You'll flip to the next page. So if you got it wrong, I'd find a place to make it right. Write an equation of the line passing through the point 6, negative 4, that is perpendicular to the line y minus 4 equals negative 4 over 5 times x plus 6. So what is the most important word here? Perpendicular. So Fred, what is the slope of my old line? Okay, negative 4/5. So what would be perpendicular to that, Anthony? Positive 5/4. Good. So this is my new slope. Once I have my new slope, what do I do with it? Anybody? I plug it in. Where am I plugging it in? Point slope form. So again, everybody should be writing this down. If you got it wrong, find a place to write it down. This is number 10. Good job. All right, so then what is the y I'm going to plug in? Negative 4. When I plug it in, what's going to happen? Turns into a positive. All right, and then we said my slope is 5/4. It's my perpendicular slope. And then what is the x I'm going to plug in? 6. So we got y plus 4 on the left. On the right, we'll do 5/4 x. We'll distribute also 5/4 times negative 6. I'm going to put it over 1. Can I multiply when they don't have like denominators? Yes, I can. I multiply straight across. 5 times negative 6 is negative 30. Move this over. Negative 30. And then 4 times 1 is 4. Does this reduce? It does. They're both even. So what does this reduce to? Yep, negative 15/2. So when I write this in, which looks better? Negative 15/2 like this, or the negative out in front like this? Out in front. So I would always put it in front instead of in the top of the fraction or the bottom. All right, so then my next step is to subtract 4. So we'll have y equals 5/4 x. So we're going to subtract 4. I'm going to put 4 over 1. So when I'm subtracting these two things, do I want them to have the same denominator? I do. What denominator do I want them both to have? A 2. So what am I going to multiply the top and the bottom by? 2. So what will my new fraction look like? Close. 8/2. Again, because what's 8 divided by 2? 4. That's still negative 4 and negative 4. So same thing, we're just making it look different. So we have like denominators, so my answer is going to have 2 in the denominator. Then I'm going to subtract the top. I have minus 15 minus 8, which makes negative 23. And again, you put the negative out in front and not in the fraction. That's it.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So, because don't you subtract the 4 and then it's 15/2, would you not turn the 4 into a fraction and put it over 1, or no?
That is what we did. That's how we got. So we had 4 over 1, but it needed to have a denominator of 2.
2, so I multiplied them both by 2, but I did I got 8/2.
Which is what I got too. It's right there.
Or
You said 7.
Yeah, that's what I said it was 7.
Yeah.
Oh.
So then you do minus 15 minus 8, which gets you negative 23, and then you keep the 2.
Okay.
So are we good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're going to look at number 12. I wrote the same thing on everyone's number 12. What was that? What 2 words did I write? Show slope. So I'm not asking you to show the formula, but I'm just asking you to write off to the side what each slope was. So I know you're not just taking a shot out of the air. Let's find A. Mine has lines, yours doesn't. I don't know why, because I screenshot this from your test review, and when it prints, it just doesn't print lines. I don't know why. I'm very sorry for that. It is what it is. But line A, is it a positive or a negative slope?
Positive.
It's positive. As it goes left to right, it's going up. So what's my rise?
10.
Oop, nope. It's not.
Oh, it is 9.
It is actually 8. Yeah. I went up 1 too many the first time. So that's 8. And then how much do I have to run? 5. It's 8 because you start at 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh, yeah, you don't
All right, so that's A. We'll do B. Is B positive or negative? It is negative. Good. So when you rise, you're actually going to go downward. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So down 6. And then over how many? 2. Do we reduce? What is 6 over 2 reduced to?
Negative.
Appreciate it, Xander. C. C's at the bottom of the page. Is it positive or negative?
Negative.
It is positive. As it goes left to right, it goes up. All right, so how much do we rise? 2, and we run. I agree. 3, 6. Does 2 over 6 reduce? And it reduces to 1/3. All right, and then the last one, you got rise over run. How much do we rise? 2 when we run. 6 again, which reduces to 1/3. So from here, you make decisions. If they're going to be parallel, what do we know about their slopes? They're going to be the same. Do we have slopes that are the same? We do. Which 2 are those? C and D. So you're going to say line C is parallel to line D.
Wait, Miss Marshall.
Yes, dear.
What if you did line D is parallel to line C?
Same thing. Perpendicular, we're looking for opposite reciprocal. So what would opposite reciprocal of 8 over 5 be?
5 over negative 5.
Negative 5 over 8. Do we have that here? No. What about negative 3? What is the opposite reciprocal of negative 3? 1 over 3. Do we have that? We do. So we're going to say line B is perpendicular to line C. And then line, it's B again, is perpendicular also to line D. Good.
So the only thing you took points off of is not putting slopes.
Yep. Oh, that's what you did today? Yeah.
Yeah, this one.
This is because a lot of people were just taking a guess. That's all.
No, I did it. I just didn't put the
Slopes.
I didn't show my slopes.
22 is on the very last page. Determine which lines, if any, are parallel or perpendicular. I want you to put a star next to this. This is on the test. I want you to write that you only know the slope. If it's in y equals mx plus b. If it is not written in y equals mx plus b, can you possibly know the slope?
No.
No. So you need to make it look like y equals mx plus b, so you can know what the slope is. These are asking if they're parallel or perpendicular. We just talked about this. Parallel lines have the same slope. So if you can't tell what the slope is, you cannot tell if these lines are parallel. The same thing with perpendicular. So with line A, is it already written in y equals mx plus b?
Yes.
It is. What is the slope? 5. Okay, so that's easy. The second, line B, is it written in slope-intercept form?
Yes.
It is not. So it would have y by itself. So what letter do we need to solve for? Kind of just told you.
Y.
We need to solve for y. So I need to get 5y by itself first. So what do I need to move over? X. So I'm going to subtract the x. So you got 5y equals... How do I subtract a letter from a number?
The line.
I just write them next to each other. Yeah.
How do you get a letter or a number from a letter?
You don't. That's why I said you write them next to each other.
Oh, I was thinking of 5y.
Oh, 5y. That means 5 times y. So what's the opposite of 5 times y? Dividing by 5. So some people got here and then they got stuck. What number is invisibly in front of the x? Oh, -1. So it's actually -1 x over 5, and then plus 5 divided by 5 is 1. So what is the slope of my second line of line B? -1/5. So are they parallel, perpendicular, or neither? Perpendicular. All right, you go ahead and put away your test review. It is what it is. So your notebook check, 2 things are changing. So today I won't have help class after school because I have a doctor's appointment, but I can have it tomorrow morning. So what you do, you'd come into the dining commons, and then you just walk around, and I'm here. You need your notebook check together before class begins tomorrow. So you will not have time to put it together, or you will get a 0. Do we understand each other? Yes. I am not taking the time. Tomorrow I might not even be here. My daughter is sick today. So if she's sick tomorrow, then I will have to stay home with her. Okay? So you will be given 10 minutes at the end of class to put this together. Yes? That stinks. I don't know why you're telling me that. Does that apply to the whole class? Okay.